off with the story of a little boy who was in kindergarten and already knew his times tables. This little boy had a very difficult time getting along with others and was very impulsive and disruptive in settings where he was expected to control himself. The mother of this little boy used to pick him up from school every day and ask the teacher that day how he did. The teacher would reply, "He is a very intelligent little boy, but his behaviors in class are disruptive, and unless he gets these behaviors under control, no one will ever recognize his academic potential." The teacher would primarily focus on his negative behaviors and forget to praise him for the positive behaviors. A parent of an ADHD child put it best. You see, the more people you know about your child's ADHD, the more people that can do something to help him. Even if it's an extra word of encouragement or praise, by being open to their ADHD, we are not asking our children to be treated differently. We are certainly not asking for pity. We are asking that they are educated in a manner in which they learn best. We are asking for a hand up, not a hand out. We are asking that they aren't punished for behaviors they can't control. We are asking that they be judged and remembered for their talents and achievements, not for their deficiencies or disability. We are asking that their spirit be lifted. We are asking that they can live their lives without shame. For teaching them to be shameful for their ADHD teaches them that we are ashamed of them. Today I want to dispel the stereotypes associated with children suffering from ADD and ADHD. Adults can have preconceived notions that children that have been diagnosed with ADD or ADHD can be troublemakers, academically challenged, short-tempered, and aggressive. This can be true, however, if properly diagnosed and treated, these children can thrive. There's nothing shameful about having attention deficit disorder, or at least there shouldn't be. But in our society, people who have the disorder are seen as somehow defective. Despite ample evidence suggesting that the children with ADD or ADHD are just as competent, personable, and skilled as normal people. ADD and ADHD children often get labeled as being a troublemaker. However, many times nothing is done to find out the reason why they are exhibiting these behaviors. Labeling a child with ADD or ADHD can greatly hinder the child's self-esteem and their potential. An ADD or ADHD child may have the best of intentions to listen and follow directions. However, they do not understand why they can't control their actions. According to Melvin Hyman, the author of ABCs of ADHD, ADHD is widely recognized as a legitimate mental health problem. Although its exact definition continues to be debated, ADHD is thought to be a neurological impairment, probably originating in the frontal lobes of the brain, affecting the child's ability to control their impulses. Lacking the ability to control their impulses, these children do and say whatever occurs from minute to minute. They are quite literally out of control. Without proper help, these children can become sad or even depressed due to their very accurate perception that the people around them disapprove of everything that they do. The best approach with ADD or ADHD children is to understand the behaviors and what can be done to redirect them. It is important to emphasize the child's strengths and praise them for the right choices. The little boy I spoke of earlier is my son William. It was a constant struggle day in and day out when William was in kindergarten. Here was an extremely intelligent little boy that was constantly hearing people speak negatively about his behavior. behavior that he was unable to control. He wanted to change his behaviors, however, he could not stop himself from doing them. Self-control and consequences are two things a child with ADD or ADHD does not understand without the right treatment and support. Understanding the disease is the most important part of helping the child. Realizing that a child with ADD or ADHD often has risk factors that are beyond the control of the parents. According to Jane Collingwood, the author of The Genetics of ADHD, a 2009 review concluded that genetics account for 70 to 80% in a child developing ADD or ADHD. Individuals need to educate themselves about how ADD and ADHD affects the child's impulse control. Creating a set of obtainable goals for the child, along with treatment and praise will help the child thrive. My son William was diagnosed and treated and is now a star student in school and thrives in social settings. He is now in 4th grade and his teacher can't believe he even suffers from ADHD. Of course, at night when the medication wears off, it is a different story. However, the older he gets, the more self-control he seems to exhibit when he is not medicated. Now let's discuss what can be done to overcome stereotypes associated with ADD and ADHD. We can decrease stereotyping in several ways. Begin with self-observation and awareness. This is important because, according to Bandura's social learning theory, children learn through observing people they admire. If adults can talk openly with children about the strengths and diversity and the detrimental effects of prejudice, children are provided with a model of openness and awareness to imitate. If we can overcome our preconceived ideas about ADD and ADHD children and understand that these children are not at fault. Assigning fault to children with ADD or ADHD is like saying a person with type 1 diabetes is at fault for their disease. Diagnosis, treatment, and education are the most important aspects in helping a child overcome their handicaps. Children with ADD and ADHD often get labeled as troublemakers and disruptive children. The bottom line is that ADD and ADHD is not something that makes a bad child. And it is like any other disease that needs treatment. Offering a great support system to the child, understanding their handicaps, is one of the most important things a person can do. Praising the child for the right decisions and offering guidance for their bad choices is the best gift we can give the child that suffers from ADHD.